I'm Peter Berninger, and this is...
And I'm Miles Astor.
We're giving you a report from Axpona.
The first time it's been held in Chicago in 14 years. So
that's right.
A whole new experience and a very highly successful show for Steve Davis and the people from Music Direct that really made it a successful show.
Yeah, they sure did. I was amazed at the number of people that attended the show. Preliminary reports were expecting several thousand. Steve was trying to hit 3,000. I think he may have nailed it. Every day there were people in the rooms, they were in the halls, they were filling the seats. It was very hard to get a center spot listening chair. What did you think?
Well, I agree with you, Peter. In fact, you know, unlike other shows where Fridays tend to be slow, Sundays tend to be slow, I mean, it was filled up every day here. So it was obvious that people in Chicago and the Midwest really wanted a show. And from what Steve's saying, that's going to be a bigger show next year. In fact, talking to quite a few manufacturers in the halls who are kind of here, just kind of dipping their toe in to see whether it was worthwhile. I think there's going to be a lot more coming next year. It's going to be a huge show.
I agree with that. And the sound was pretty good this year. There was a few rooms that really stood out for me. I'm going to lead off. I like the room with the MBL 116s and the United Home Audio deck. I thought that was a good room with Jolita. Now that was a standout room.
Well, it's hard not to have good sound when you're rolling some tape, right, Peter?
Yeah, how about that? Rolling tape, man, it just makes all the difference in the world. How about you? Pick one.
Well, I actually like the Veloce YG room. It started out with the Carmel speakers for the first day, and the first 2 days, and then they switched over to the keypod today. And all the days, it was like, yeah, they're pretty expensive speakers, but one thing that really strikes you is that they just produce a sound that is not reflected by their diminutive size.
Well, I got to hand it to the Kipo too. Now, I did not hear the Kipo today. I heard it at the California show, and I gave it best of show. It was showing with the Moon audio products, and I'll tell you, the synergy between the Kipo and the Moon, it was off the moon. How about another one?
I like today, they've actually changed some interconnect cables in the Skaner room. They put in a new interconnect that Jeff Smith from Soundsmith had just, Silversmith I think it is, had just sort of a prototype since he's been spending the last, 8 years in Afghanistan serving our country.
So that's right.
He's been in and out, and he's kind of like been hanging on with his company, but he had brought a new prototype interconnect, and it seemed to even out the upper octaves in the room, which were a little too much and a little too smeared. Today, they definitely hit a home run with the sound.
Now, one of the rooms that was a chameleon room for me for the show was, I'm always a big fan of MBL loudspeakers. You guys all know it. I love my MBLs. I love them because they give you the concert in your room. They're not a high-end audio speaker per se. They're kind of like your own instant breakfast concert right there. And it's the MBL room started off sounding slow and rolled off and blurry and bloated in the bass. And they made a little change to the speaker last night. There was a little enhancement, a little new bottom bass for it, a prototype bass for the 101E. And it really cleaned a lot of things up. And today I would have to rate that up there in probably one of the top 5 rooms. Give me another room, Miles.
I actually like the audio research room. I thought that you had to subtract out the bass, although it seemed a little better on Sunday, but I thought outside of the bass, it was really sterling. I mean, they had the Sonus Faber Amati Futuras in there with the D250s, and I basically, when I'm talking about analog, not the digital, but in this room, with the analog, it was very good. I mean, very neutral, very quick, you know, and not over-analytical.
I heard something just before we came here to do our wrap-up report. The Leonardo speakers. Now, the Leonardo speakers are electrostatic design. They're from Italy, and they were sounding very realistic in the low end. And electrostatics aren't known for low-end sound. Now, we did not hear a whole lot of program material, but it did kind of stand out. And they're striking in design and beautiful to look at. They were being driven by Audio Power Labs. How about another room?
Well, didn't you kind of think, going back to Leonardo, that it could have been a little differently set up? I mean, I went in and listened to them, but I did scratch my head a little bit about the setup. I mean, they were kind of against the wall and everything, and I'm going,
Yeah, they were. They had them up, tucked up against the wall, and perhaps that's for staging, perhaps that's for maybe there was a low frequency bump in the room, but for that brief moment I was in there, I kind of liked them, so that was a little bit of a standout. Sonically, I think the show was above average overall. I didn't feel that there was anything that stood out on a big scale format except probably my best of show, is going to go to the Von Schweikert room. Now the Von Schweikert's, it's a new design by Albert Von Schweikert. It's a statement reference level product. It's a 4-unit. It has 2 big towers. It has 2 bass management modules. And we were adjusting the EQ on it on Anne Besson's Blue Mind. And I'll tell you, Anne was right in the room with us. It was really working well. Did you get a chance to hear that room?
Yeah, I did. I agree with you on that. I mean, I would love to hear it with different electronics. Because, of course, with speakers like that, it's just kind of, they're so revealing of everything in front of them that, you know, I think the one mistake a lot of manufacturers tend to make is that they bring a statement product, and then, you know, the equipment around it, you really aren't that familiar with, so it's kind of hard to say, like, you know, Wilson always brings a nose, like VTL, someone else, and I think that kind of was the only mistake I could hear in that room. Like,
yeah, well, they had the 25 by 25 watt Kronzilla. I would have rather had the mono blocks with 140 a channel on that system, or I would have rather had a push-pull amplifier pushing out at least 200 watts per channel, and or a solid state at, say, 400 watts per channel. But, you know, maybe where there's a will, there's a way. We'll hear those speakers again very soon, and we can hear them with more power on tubes, and perhaps some really clean, super analytical, but yet musical solid state.
And analog. Not to mention.
Well, one tape guy to another tape guy. It's Peter Bruninger and Miles Astor reporting from
Axpona.
Axpona. Very good.